We've shown for 20 years that unions and management can work together on issues of common interest. And in today's partisan environment, it's very rare that you find this kind of partnership.
PILMA has always supported what we supported in organized labor as far as wages and jobs. And their industry creates a lot of jobs.
Well, the PILMA partnership is important because it's really about human beings. It's about the good and welfare of our society, not only for union working families, but for families all over the world.
I met with the Dawsons, Leslie and Sam at the time, as well as Vince Pambini and a few others, and we began first with the Pharmaceutical Research Labor Management Committee to now what's PILMA. And it got off to a bit of a bumpy start, but thanks to Tim Dixon and to this management of Pharma, we were given the tools to really make it work right.
To see the evolution of PILMA from those early days in the late 90s to now, it's been an amazing growth. You know, we started off working in the States, but have expanded that with a federal lobbying team and with a much larger reach.
I remember I got a call from the late, great Sam Dawson, the former director of the Steelworkers, and Jack Flynn, the former political director for the Opera Engineers. He said, would you be interested of getting involved with us with the Labor Management Committee with the pharmaceuticals? I said, sure. I said, hey. So we had a meeting at the Democrat Club with Kurt Malgren. I think it was somebody else there too from Pharma. We talked, and I told him, I said, hey man, this is like hitting a home run the bottom of the ninth, like, or like the Harper did, with the Phillies.
When we convinced them it was in their best interest to have prevailing wage, we were able to get several letters written, company by company, to elected officials supporting prevailing wage, which is a huge piece. That's what the relationship is about.
Then there was a major attack on the pharmaceutical industry, and it was through the partnership of the colleagues Kirk and Wes and Tim and, of course, Leslie and Sam Dawson in the beginning. And they followed, in order to resolve that problem, they went to Pennsylvania and looked and seen how we did with some of the excess monies we had in the pharmaceutical industry, and we put that to contributions for children without any health care as senior citizens. And Bill was able to resolve that by coming forward with a joint resolution to enhance the whole community in Ohio. And we were very successful. That's probably one of the biggest victories we've had on the state level in the last 20 years.
Several years back, when labor was fighting to preserve the Davis-Bacon Act, and the pharmaceutical companies came out in support of labor. And I think that's the only part of the business community that did that. But it was because of this comfort that the industry had with labor through PILMA that made that come about. That's a sign that the system is working well.
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in research and development. The trades with the apprenticeship programs and the training centers we have all over the country, each local union in all these states, it's probably got over $1 billion worth of training centers that's funded by, the guy that works every day. So much money goes into the training fund. And that makes us, the best of what we do. And the pharmaceutical companies are the best of what they do. If you look around, what they did for COVID, we'd be a lot worse shape if it wasn't for the pharmaceutical companies.
It's one of the few industries in the country that provides high quality, high paying jobs. And we have, as unions, have a good opportunity to grow in that industry.
It's labor and management working together to help the patients, to build better facilities, more modern facilities, with the best apprenticeships programs going. And it's all what fits the excellence that the pharmaceutical industry must have.
Many orphan diseases, undiagnosed diseases are now treatable, and we're making progress in that regard.
I think the key a lot of times is having the tours of our training centers, and it opens up a lot of eyes.
And one of the best part of the apprenticeship is we have a program called Helmets to Hard Hats. Being a veteran, that meant a lot to me. But any veteran that comes out gets placed at the head of the line for any of the building trades apprenticeships. Gets moved directly in. PILMA has been a large, and Pharma has been a large supporter of Helmets to Hard Hats, which is good for the country, good for veterans.
PILMA and the pharmaceutical industry saved millions of lives all over the world. They were in the forefront. We need them in the future.
I'm very proud of the position that the industry has taken on inclusion and diversity. And in the process, that has created an awareness among typically underserved populations. We've closed the gap. The PILMA partnership saves lives.